Hey guys, it's Girl Got Game. Welcome back to England Exchange with a very exciting black screen here. As we begin Ashley's route on Flynn's side of things. So we've already seen some differences with Ashley as we've gone through on Flynn's side already. So I'm hoping there'll be more to come. But anyway, this is the first time we meet Ashley at the bar, or I guess pub, where we work with her. So let's begin here. Seeing as it didn't seem I was going to have much time to relax, I pulled on my work shirt and apron and headed next door to the Crafty Crown. It was a goofy name, and I was a little afraid of what I would find inside. I gathered my guts and pushed open the polished oak door. The color scheme left a lot to be desired, but the light was warm and the tables and booths gave it a friendly kind of atmosphere. A bar ran around the back wall, and there was a woman behind it fiddling with some bottles and preparing drinks. Not just any woman. A blonde whose low-cut top looked a whole lot better on her than my work uniform did on me. She saw me standing in the doorway and beckoned me forward, a bright smile on her face.
You must be the new blood. I'm Ashley.
I'm Flynn. Nice to meet you. I guess we'll be working together.
So we will. You're from America, right? I've heard you're not 21 yet. Not old enough to serve drinks in your country. Don't worry, I'll show you the ropes. In any case, there's no way you'll be worse than...
This dude. The front door closed and Ashley fell silent. Another man had just entered wearing the same uniform that I was, though he wore it better. What? Who is this guy? What are you doing here? Caught off guard by both his gruff questions and his American accent, I stammered in reply. I'm Flynn. I'm new here. Nice to meet you. I guess we're comrades, compatriots, or something. Just don't get in my way. I want to get in, do the work, and get out. I have no interest in this job, or in being American buddies, so don't make my life more difficult than it already is. You won't like what happens if you do. He turned the corner and headed into a back room.
So, that was Brendan. Don't mind him, he's not that bad a guy.
She gazed after him with a worried look on her face, and I balked. Not that bad a guy? Really?
Huh. We just broke up, so...
Oh. I'm sorry. But that meant you was single, right? Oh, Flynn.
Don't worry about it. It's over now. Anyways, let me show you how we do things here.
She took me into the kitchen in the back, showing me the plates and the dish cleaner and where we were supposed to put the orders that we took and so on. In no time, I was completely confused, not least because of all the different names for the foods. What's a gherkin?
It's yay long and green.
A pickle!
But pickle is brown and comes in jars.
Why do you call your french fries chips?
Because they're chipped off a potato. Why do you call them French? What did the French ever do for chips?
She smiled and shook her head, which made her hair, and other things, sway entertainingly.
I'm gonna have to hand you off to Brendan now. No one's around to serve up the usual as their next drink.
She skipped to the front of the bar, and I hesitantly approached Brendan, who was bent over a plate of food. The hell do you want? You're supposed to teach me what to do next. Seriously? He glared at me. Then he glanced at the plate of food, a slab of meat with some type of sauce on it, and smiled. Right. How about you go and get a pint of beer from the front and meet me back here? What kind of beer? Just beer! Go! I ran to the front and grabbed the first dark glass of beer I saw, stopped to wave at Ashley. She waved back really cutely, then headed back inside. Brendan was standing with the plate in his hands, a sly smile on his face. Take this out to the table in the far back. Guy's a buddy of mine, and give me that. He took the beer from my hands and began to drink. I don't think you're supposed to do that while you're working. Are you telling me how to do my job? No! No, of course not. Good. Now, skedaddle! I took the plate out to the back table where a man with a thick mustache was waiting.
Finally! It's been an age!
Compliments of Brendan. He says hi. The man gave me a weird look, then took the food. I started to head back into the kitchen when...
Ah!
I jumped. The man at the table had screamed, and now he was glaring at me.
What is this shit?
What? I just delivered the food. What?
What's wrong, sir?
There are peppers in this sauce. I specifically requested no peppers. I said that I'm allergic to peppers. This is covered in tiny bits of pepper.
Ashley turned pale.
I am so sorry, sir. I'll call 999 right away.
Don't bother. It's not that kind of allergy.
In other words, he isn't allergic at all. He just doesn't like pepper.
Someone deliberately put extra pepper into this dish. Who did you say did this? Brendan. I'm going to talk to your manager. I'll make sure I get that kid fired if it's the last thing I ever do.
He sneered at me, then marched out of the room. The remaining customers stared at us in the ensuing silence. Then... What the hell did he just say? Brendan came out of the back of the kitchen. You told him I did that? Well, I thought you said... You little shit, you're dead. No, if I lose my job, you will wish you were dead. I will make sure that the time you spend here will be absolute hell, do you hear me? This won't be the end of things. Brendan dashed out of the room, presumably to catch the man, or talk to our boss. Ashley laid her hand on my shoulder.
Hey, are you okay?
I felt weak on my feet, but tried to act as though nothing was wrong. Of course I am.
Tough first day, right?
Ashley laughed quietly. I didn't join in.
Anyways, let's just try and finish out this shift. We can worry about everything else later.
The rest of the shift went comparatively smoothly. Ashley helped me through my failures, and even though Brendan stayed gone for most of the shift, we weren't too hard-pressed for customers. After a few hours, Brendan came back. He said nothing, just went to the back kitchen and resumed work. I assumed that meant that he wasn't fired. I didn't really have the guts to ask him. Alright, shift's over, so we can skip through Aussie. And we're not interested in a guy this time, so we'll get some sleep. Let's get through this. This doesn't really have much to do with Ashley. This is more of a Mark thing. Mark and Peggy thing. It's nothing, Mark. That's Brendan again, that's Danny, that's Mark. Maybe it's in the phrasing? No thank you, Peggy. Oh, there's Chiho. Peggy again. And I'm too busy this time. Literature? Was that... I think this is just Brendan. Alright, we'll leave that for Brendan's route. Ugh. Next time. We haven't actually helped Angelo with the chores here yet, so let's do that. As the guy, that is. I plopped myself down near Angelo, grabbing plants and pulling. This is ridiculous. Don't you think? He's using us as some form of cheap labor. I swear, one of these days I'm going to... Angelo tugged sharply at a plant and it uprooted, along with a giant chunk of earth. Hey, don't bother wasting your time with him. He's not worth it. Save it for the battle you really need to fight. Angelo looked at me questioningly, and I shrugged. Assuming you have one, anyways. I do. He stared at the ground for a few moments, then grit his teeth. Let's get on with it then. We got to work tugging up weed after weed, and probably a few flowers too. Quite a few minutes passed before Angela said, so quietly I almost missed it, "Thanks."
Aw, Angie. Nothing new with Angie there as a guy. That's too bad. I do love me Angie.
Oh, what a rough day. I was in the pub that evening, rolling out my neck and musing over how surprisingly difficult it was spending so much time with Brendan in close quarters. Normally, my own workplace wouldn't be much fun to hang out in, but Brendan had already gone back to the hostel, so if I went there I might run into him again. That guy is going to be the end of me, I just know it. A glass was set down by my elbow. I looked up to see a smiling Ashley.
A White Russian on the house.
Sweet. I keep forgetting I'm allowed to drink here. What's in this? Is it really alcoholic?
Vodka, coffee liqueur, and cream. Just make sure to go slowly on it, okay? I don't know what your tolerance is.
It's not crazy high. I usually only drink beer or wine that other people have brought to parties.
Then drink one and see how you feel. You might be able to have another.
She glanced around, then leaned in closer to me.
But be careful, they're a bit pricey. Don't tell anyone I gave you this. You know, at some establishments, the staff aren't allowed to come to the bar as customers at all, to make sure they don't get special treatment.
Should we be doing this?
Oh, I'm sure it's fine. It's just this once, right?
Right. With someone as nice as Ashley behind the bar, I can see how it would be easy to take advantage. I took a straw from a basket on the bar surface and stuck it in the drink. Oh. Wow, this is delicious!
Uh-huh.
Ashley walked away, looking horrified for some reason. The White Russian was cold and sweet and creamy. Essentially, it was candy, and I downed it in a few minutes. Hey, Ashley, can I get another?
You're already done?
Yeah, I am. I feel fine, so another one won't mess me up too bad.
If you're sure.
She went about preparing another, and as she did, I began to feel a little bit lightheaded. Haha. Guess I was feeling it more than I thought. Ashley put the drink in front of me, and I handed her a 10-pound note. Keep the change.
Jeez, thank you.
No problem. Now, I have a question. I put the straw in the second cup and started drinking it too. It tasted slightly different though, much sweeter. There was probably less alcohol in this one, which was probably for the best. Still, it was enough to loosen my tongue. I want to know what happened with you and Brendan. Ashley froze. Oh god, I'm sorry, is it really that bad? I totally shouldn't have asked, I'm super sorry.
No, it's fine. It wasn't anything that bad. I mean, it was. Well, I don't want to say that it was.
Her eyes darted around the bar as if looking for some method of escape, but none presented them to her. Then again, there weren't many customers here at this time of day. I figured most people came around in the actual nighttime to drink, rather than getting drunk immediately after work like I was. Wait, that was kinda sad. Wasn't it? Wait, was it? Did I have to rethink my life now? Huh.
Well, I'm not really sure what went wrong. It happened kind of suddenly, at least for me. One day, everything seemed to be going great, and we were closer than we'd ever been before, and the next, he dumped me. I'm certain he's not a bad person, though. Not deep down, anyways. I guess it just didn't work out, that's all.
She trailed off, staring intently into space. I sipped my drink carefully. I was nearly finished with this one, too, and I wanted to make sure I got all the deliciousness out of the cracks. After a few seconds, I realized she looked pretty upset. Hey, I'm sorry for bringing up bad memories. I was just curious, but I'm pretty sure it was a little shitty of me to ask.
No, it's fine. Well, what do you think? Do you think people are inherently good?
Okay, when we did this
the other times, she drops plates and has a pretty bad night. So we'll say not completely this time.
Not completely.
No?
I mean, most people probably aren't trying to do bad things. It's probably like the butterfly effect or something. They're just trying to do something that makes them happy, and that makes other people suffer by accident. Or I guess some people purposefully make other people suffer, but only because they're trying to get happy in some way. So really, most people aren't, like, super awful, but they still do shitty things sometimes.
Huh. Well, I never thought about it that way.
I mean, haven't you accidentally said something mean when you were trying to be funny? Or had to not invite Michelle to a birthday party because you were trying not to make her ex's new girlfriend uncomfortable?
That sounds very specific.
Exactly! The world is gray and complicated. And then some people are totally shitty. Like, when they don't even tell you that the meeting's been rescheduled, so you don't turn up and everyone thinks it's your fault.
Poor Flynn. He's just pouring out his life story. Like, these are all the shitty things that happened to me. I need more drink.
Ashley nodded, but it didn't really look like she was listening to me anymore. I finished my drink and set it on the counter.
Here, let me get you some water.
Okay. She set the glass of water on the bar top, and then another customer called her away. I drank my water in a peaceful kind of buzz and watched as Ashley carried out her shift. My reactions did feel a little slow, but hers seemed to be that way too. I didn't really understand it, but it seemed like something was on her mind. Eventually, I finished my drink and was ready to head back to my room. Ashley was such a nice girl. What really happened between her and Brendan?
Oh, that was so much better. Poor Ashley. I felt terrible picking the other option the other times. Yeah, I don't know, honestly. There might not be enough food for you. Okay, that's a Brendan thing again. You guys can smooch this time, that's fine. And it's not really an Ashley-specific scene either, so I'll leave that alone. Maybe next time. Pigs. Yeah, we'll do this one, just because, it's kind of a nice interaction between, Flynn and Ashley.
I crept into the dining area, following my nose. Somebody had cooked something lovely. I was met by Aussie, Brendan, Ashley, and to my utter surprise, Jiho. Ashley looked up and smiled when I came in. Hello, everyone. I glanced at the plate loaded with food in the center of the table. Is there room for another? Brendan narrowed his eyes and opened his mouth to respond, but...
Of course, the more the merrier.
Brendan glared at me, but shut his mouth. The decision had been made. Nodding my thanks, I dished up some food for myself, then took a seat with the others. I hadn't seen much of Jiho around the hostel, but it didn't seem like I would be able to get to know her very well in this group of people. Aussie and Brendan were deep in a discussion about some spat between a celebrity couple, each on total opposite sides of the debate. Ashley kept trying to make peace, but they were not having it. Jiho, meanwhile, quietly ate her food and observed. After a while, I drew out Ashley's attention and we began a conversation about different kinds of food we liked and restaurants we had been to. Jiho didn't join in, but she turned her deep brown eyes on me and I grew hot under her gaze. It was so... intense. Like having the weight of 1,000 rocks hung on my shoulders. Despite that, I actually got her to laugh a few times, and Ashley and I had fun. As the conversation went on, I suddenly noticed the rest of the room was quiet. Aussie and Brendan had stopped arguing and were now staring at me. I don't know why, but their stares felt different from Jiho's. Brendan's especially made me uncomfortable. I did my best to ignore the feeling of being judged and carry on. Eventually we finished our meal and I helped Ashley clean up after everyone else left. Thanks for another great meal, Ashley. She blushed and shook her head.
No problem.
It was an odd evening, but a pleasant one.
Alright. That's done. Okay, so this thing again, and we will help nobody. Okay, Jihyo. Joke around. Ah. Valentine's Day. Okay. We gotta do Valentine's Day.
I woke up early on Valentine's Day, feeling quite lonely. When I was a little kid, Valentine's was a fun day, where everyone in class would trade tiny paper cards and candy hearts. But when we were older, it got weird to give Valentines to people who were just your friends. And since I'd never been in a relationship, I'd never gotten a serious Valentine. It was hard not to feel overwhelmed sometimes by all the romantic advertising and decoration around NYC. Buildings flashed red with hearts and roses, couples posed by the love statue for photographs. Of course, James couldn't be bothered to decorate the hostel for a holiday, so at least there was none of that here. Still, I felt lonely. Jinsu and Nene sent me their best wishes by email, but explained that postage was too expensive, so they didn't bother to mail me real cards. Probably for the best, considering their going away present. They might think it was funny to send an obscene Valentine. This trip was supposed to be my fresh start at romance. Why was I still alone? I paged through old messages on my phone, feeling more than a little sorry for myself. There was a quiet knock at the door, and I slid out of bed to answer it.
Happy Valentine's Day, Flynn!
Ashley held a small wrapped package out to me. What's this?
I got you a present! Happy Valentine's!
Ashley, I had no idea. Did this mean she liked me? I didn't get you anything. I feel terrible.
No, don't be silly. I don't want anything in return. All I want is your happiness. Everybody should be happy on Valentine's Day.
At that point, I realized she had a bag slung over her shoulder filled with tiny packages.
I've got to give presents to everyone else. See you later.
So it wasn't because she liked me. It was because she liked everyone. Well, it was still really sweet of her. I shut the door and eagerly unwrapped the present. A small stuffed animal grinned up at me, a bunny with glasses and a red scarf. He looked like a miniature Harry Potter, and I laughed when I saw him. I sat him on the nightstand next to my bed and smiled. Thanks, Ashley. Happy Valentine's to you too.
Alright, I need to drink some water while I get to the next thing. Oh, it's you. Okay, well, hold on a second, girl. Suddenly feel like I have a frog in my throat. Blech.
I passed by Ashley in the hall. Wait, that was strange. I'm sure that when I first saw her, she was strutting down the hall doing a sachet, as if she were walking down a catwalk. But when I turned to look again, she was walking normally. I guess I just had a weird image in my mind for some reason. I mean, she'd look great on a catwalk, even if she's not as tall as models are these days. Get a grip, Flynn. I shook my head and went on my way.
Oh, Flynn. Flynnigan. Oh, this is Danny. Hi, Brendan. Okay, I guess Ashley is here, so we better do it.
Hey, Flynn. What do you want? My shift's over. I'm about to leave. Someone just vomited up a storm in the men's room. Yeah? And? Brendan pointed to a mop leaning against the wall. Go ahead. It's your job, isn't it? No, it's not. It is now. He left for the bar out front. That son of a... I charged after him, intending to give him a piece of my mind.
Is everything okay, Flynn?
Flynn here was just volunteering to take care of the mess in the bathroom.
That's so nice of you.
Yeah, it is.
Lasai. Oh.
Hi, Peggy. Oh, this one. I am so curious about this scene. I've been waiting to figure out what exactly is happening here for ages, so let's get to it.
I was on my break from work, munching on a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, when James came running at me out of nowhere. Flynn! What? Oscar needs tomatoes. Go get him some tomatoes. What? Oscar at the pub? I'm on my break. Well, Ashley hasn't come to work yet, and I just used the last tomato on my sandwich for lunch. So now Oscar's pissed at me, and someone's gotta get the replacements. This is an emergency, and if you don't do it, I'll dock your pay. What? Fine. Jeez, I'm going. He threw a 20-pound note into my lap and dashed back to the restaurant. 20 pounds? How many tomatoes did he want? Better get going. I dashed through the street, heading for a market nearby that I knew sold fresh produce. Hopefully they'd have enough on hand to... Wait. Was that Ashley? She was talking to 3 men. But then maybe talking wasn't the right word. They were crowding around her uncomfortably, blocking her from the sight of anyone else on the street. I did not like the looks on their faces. Was she in trouble? I had a job to be doing, but so did she. It wasn't like her to be late for work. Ashley was always so conscientious.
Alright, let's jump into the fray.
I had to do something. I dashed over to Ashley. Hey! Who are you guys and what do you want with her?
Flynn! These are my new friends, Merrick and Jan and Costadan. They're new in town and trying to find a hostel to stay at. I've been trying to direct them to the one, but I think they're having trouble understanding me because they keep going some other way.
Huh.
I stopped listening to Ashley because the tallest of the men was pointing at me and making a bunch of different hand motions, rubbing his fingers together and then jerking his thumb away. If I gave him money, he'd leave us alone? You've gotta be kidding me. What should I do? Ashley was completely oblivious that these men were up to no good. Her trusting nature left her blind in situations like this. Maybe it would be better to tell her what they were trying to do. Or would it be nicer, and safer for that matter, to just give them what they want and get us both out of here? I doubt I could fend them off by myself, and Ashley was probably too sweet even to slap someone, much less fight seriously. But then giving them anything might make them see us as good targets.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to save here. Ashley. Pay up? Okay. I mean, paying them would be... I wish there was an option to, like, pay them, and then once you're away, be like, they were totally conning you. Not either or. Let's pay them and see what that does for us.
I reached into my pocket for the 20-pound note I'd been given earlier and slid it into the palm of my hand. It's nice to meet you. I held my hand out to the man. When he took it, I crushed the money into his palm. As he looked at what I had left in his hand, I grabbed Ashley and pulled her out into the street.
Where are we going? We didn't even get to say goodbye.
Trust me, it's better that way.
But they're still lost.
Our hostel is not what they're looking for, and I hope they never find it. I'm going to the market. I need to get tomatoes for the pub kitchen.
The pub! Oh no, I'm late! I'm sorry, Flynn, but I've got to go. Thank you for pulling me away from them. Who knows how much longer they'd have kept me?
Who knows indeed.
I'll see you back at the pub.
Great. I'm 20 pounds poorer, and she doesn't even realize that I rescued her. Maybe it's better that she's oblivious? I guess I'll have to pay for the tomatoes myself. Finally, I dragged the giant crate of tomatoes up to the door. What took you so long? I was almost mugged. I don't want to hear it. At least the tomatoes are here now. There are worse things that could have happened. Like getting mugged? I wanted to scream but held my tongue. I needed this job and room to live, after all. James narrowed his eyes at me. Shouldn't you be working? Your break time is up. With that, he disappeared into the crafty crown? My jaw nearly hit the floor. Some gratitude. And the day was only half out over. Good grief.